pas mal. Pas mal. C'est qui Angèle Pack? Oh, ils vont sur ça. Oh, 130, 137, 39 morts. Ah, je suis trop chaud, hein. J'ai fait tout à l'heure, j'ai fait de la classée. Je suis venu trop chaud.
Non, non, non. Oh, je suis mort, je suis mort.
Welcome back to the Reload Elite series.
C'est qui parle?
Number 2 was a similar story for Queck and
Wow.
they picked up their second victory royale. But
Don't
back-to-back was so impressive. I'm clearly lost for words. But also, what was impressive was Casper and Prism, because we're a little bit hesitant to agree to give them their flowers after game number 1 because of the zones going in their favour, and similar-ish zones this time, Levin, but they were able to withstand some pressure.
Yes, again, a very good game from them. And I don't want to sound like the Prism and Casper here. I know Reese is about, what I'm about to say next, Reese is going to make me sound like I'm the Prism and Casper hater. But I would like to point out, yes, the zone wasn't directly on Fort Crumpet. It was near Slurpy Swamp as where we ended. So the zone pulled slightly further away from them. And the placement,
Mais il y a un mec qui est trop chaud. Ouais.
You're such a hater. I would never make the exact same analytical call you were about to make. I would never do that.
Can I say though, they got 6
Moi,
elims because they
je suis un artichaut.
So they put up the numbers this time.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's a really great start for them. I was always a big fan of Prism and Casper. Obviously, they were a team that made it to Globals in, 2024, I think it was, right? And
Il y a une banane.
again, when things went to trios, the switch up, they sort of like fell into the weeds as like being a top EU team. It's good to see both of them, again, maybe making their rise here in Reload and showing them.
Allez, Bartimson.
I am surprised by the lack of eliminations we're seeing early in the game, but I'm also surprised by the amount of high-ground chaos, because that last game 11 was absolutely ridiculous. It felt like no teams could really establish it when you would expect them
vraiment
to.
Fortnite, on dirait une vieille, hein.
From there on, like, iDrop and Marius tried and again got chopped. It was like a Linkin Park song by the end. In the end, it didn't really matter.
It was crazy. Great reference. Reese, we've been talking about throwbacks of me and you back on the desk together.
Je vais lui trancher les os. Celui qui m'a buté, je vais arriver, je vais... En tout cas, je te laisse pas imaginer ce que je vais faire, mais en tout cas... Des trucs vraiment très gosses. Je vais t'arracher.
J'ai vu ça, le mec.
Tu vas saigner de partout. Je vais t'arracher la nuque. Oh non. Je vais... Tu vas saigner, tu vas saigner. Tu vas saigner, je te le dis. Tu vas saigner. Il y aura du sang de partout dans ta chambre.
Oh la mort.
Là, je veux que le début. Je veux que le début va être une histoire dégueulasse. Si, dis plus. C'est dégueulasse!
Ouais, un mec qui m'a je suis en cassé là.
It's very busy.
On est mort.
It does not get old. Seeing how many times Teeny kept going for that high ground. I was also obsessed with just seeing design Acer like on the map, just stuck second height.
Oh, ton
Repeatedly not quite making it on time. Let's talk about Pablo as well. Pablo had a very interesting early game. Let's talk about the end game first, because this is the second game in a row that he's managed to make it far and make it so impressive. Levin.
Yeah, again, not as great of a first game from them, but look, if we actually take a look here, because we got the clip, Pablo started off this game landing that Slurpee, and for the people who don't know, that's not where he was landing game 1 or where he was projected to land. Now, this is actually a pretty cool tactic that we've not seen anyone use it until now, Reese, which is, obviously with the respawn mechanic, when you go down, like you respawn wherever your teammate is, so you can split drop, right? If you are uncontested or spawn at your POI, one of you can just land anywhere else on the map, and if you go down, you just know you'll respawn on top of your teammate, right? Which they took advantage of to potentially try and get some eliminations. Pablo did go down, but had he got an elimination and went down, that's like an extra 3 points. Like that later down in the tournament.
And it's interesting because like they didn't do it in game one, and the reason is they don't know what's going on with their own draw spots, right? So in game one, you might have 2-3 teams landing there, but now going into game number 2, they know no one's contesting the logjam over to the west, so where they can just decide, you know what, I'm gonna get a sneaky Elam point. They didn't, and it didn't work whatsoever. But at the end of the day, it didn't matter too much for them across the leaderboard.
I've got a quick question for you boys. Do you think we're gonna see the triple? Had such a fantastic start, a flawless start to the day, but are they going to do a third and potentially secure their spot at the finals 11?
I don't know, but I really want to see it. I want it to happen. I love stories like this where you just get a team come from absolutely nowhere.
I'm gonna say no. That would be insane. Like, I'm so impressed, right? That clip we just saw, actually, the reason I'm so impressed there, because Twig, this is gonna sound super minor. When he went to edit on the player who was pickaxing on the time, which means he's not panicking, he's not doing anything. Obviously, they're calm and, you know, collected, it's all okay. But 3 in a row, I'm not buying into the hype just yet.
Ça s'appelle 39.
I am, which is why I'm gonna throw it to game number 3.
Wesh, il y a un mec de désert.
Even if they don't find a third victory royale in a row, Takata, just finding the back-to-back in this caliber of a lobby has already basically cemented them as a very obvious threat for the remainder of this Reloaded Elite Series finals.
Yeah, and this is a duo that doesn't have a single FNCS finals appearance, and now they're getting back-to-back wins in the Reload finals. Like, hello? How are they doing this? Look, 3 hat trick. I don't know. I might be on Reese boats here. A little too good to be true, but remember, it is top 3 that qualify to that Reload Elite Series championship land, where they get to compete for a whole other $1 million prize.
Eh ouais, je suis célibataire.
And the battle bus is ready to go.
J'ai jamais été en couple.
Jumping straight into it. All of our teams.
Allô?
Now,
Vous avez quel âge?
better prepared in terms of what to expect from those first
moi j'ai 67 ans.
Moi j'ai 6 ans et demi.
Ok. Est-ce que tu connais 6-7?
De qui?
C'est personne. C'est personne à 6-7.
Teammate to kind of have their loot ready if the reboot had to come through.
Enfin bref.
Gonna pick up Malabuka now. Quick elimination on the board, but Slurpee is getting chaotic. Sato's mission didn't last too long as Vico falls as well.
Tu connais l'application YouTube?
Vico and Malabuka just clear elimination so early on. Maddie is now gonna be forced to disengage. Given that iDrop was taken out, but Flixie, Chap, now choosing to pressure directly into the heart of Slurpee Swamp. They seize their opportunity the moment that they recognize that Malabuka had been eliminated. Vico also falling incredibly low here. Marius and iDrop, they will get a little bit of breathing room. Since Marius was able to find
Enlève de les airs d'en haut.
but with Chap
Je vais
and
aller
Flixie
rusher, je
so
pense.
close, darn Deemish too. I mean, almost anything can happen at this point in Slurpee, but that is a massive blow to Malabuka and Vico being forced to just kind of sit out this entire lobby. And we've already seen just how detrimental one placement can be. So to not have any in an entire lobby, they've got their work cut out for them for playing catch up.
Okay! Allez, let's go, les gars.
Too for Mijo's drop. I mean, it's close to Darm and Deemish. Center map is perfect for reload. As we see Sky and Scroll, not the best start from them, but you know, we're still very early on in this tournament, so anything can still happen, and not being contested gives you kind of a bit of that freedom to play it slow in the early game.
Oh, j'ai la chance! Allez, ça cache-moi!
Be looking for a sneaky play.
They are just steady lurking on Casper. That's a big 100 shot. No shield. But it's not what Pixie Comic had initially been hoping for. They wanted to get this panic. Still, Prism just trying to reunite with his duo. He needs Casper to play a little bit backup here. A lot of pressure application right now, though. And Casper, Prism, they'll still manage to hold through for the time being. Casper instead going to go on the aggressive now. Hicks forced to revert his initial strategy, and he's just going to have to fall back entirely. Now he's the one trying to just play for a little bit more of shield healing. And Combat, he'll take the reins now. But the material count is incredibly low for Fix and Combat. Got a side angle shot. Casper coming up big time. That's going to be a nice elimination here. Fix and Combat, what initially seemed like it was going to be a sneak opportunity purely in their favor, now has left them fully on the retreat.
Using up that shockwave bailout. Kind of make a comeback here. Good news is there's no duos around them, so they are going to be able to kind of group up once again. The issue is recuperating these resources quick enough before you kind of have to get closer to the more established duos in the zone. But definitely Pablo and Gino now look to be hunting down a player themselves.
Right, I just nowhere left to run. Chino almost playing with his food right there, but 2 eliminations now for Pablo and Chino. They've done a decent job at working things through from the starting point over far west in the logjam, but she's on the other foot right now for Multi and Snosku. They're having to go up against Sato and Momsy. Sato seems like he wants to just immediately barrel into the box here, but still wants to be wary, doesn't want to give away any sort of opening shots. A big exchange between Sato and Multi, and that's going to send Multi to immediately fall back here. Snosku now looking to see if he can maybe capitalize on Sato having taken such a huge chunk of his HP, but with Momsy right behind, it's going to be all too easy for them to separate one more time, and Momsy still having a little bit of leverage with that overhead POV.
A lot of close quarters combat. A Shark making use of an SMG. It's interesting. In standard VR, ARs and shotguns are basically identical in terms of damage dealt. But in reload, shotguns did 4 times more damage than ARs, so quite a difference. But like we mentioned earlier, this is a completely new playing ground in these lobbies. You can't take what we saw in Heats to decide what's going to happen here. Shark and Teeny have been loving the high ground matches, using everything they can utility-wise to make it happen. So I think one of these games they're bound to take it.
I don't know that I would say loving it. No! They were constantly chopped. Look for those positions. If anything, they clearly want the high ground. They clearly enjoy the high ground, but that is going to be a struggle if it's anything like what we saw in that secondary lobby with the constant swap outs of height. But Chino and Pablo, they know what kind of an end game they've got to really settle themselves up for. I did like that initial appearance though from Twek and Midro, kind of trying to see how far of a territory stake are you trying to make as Shark and Teeny, but not looking to overextend their position. Those are just a couple of like leaderboard heavy hitters right now, and Darm Demish not too far behind.
Let's go!
Third place position. All of their games today, they started off with 7. It is clear that they know exactly how to get scrappy with it, and they have zero fear with taking fights.
You know, we've seen how important it is format-wise as well to get a good amount of eliminations consistently. Unless you know you're Twek and Midro and you just get back-to-back wins, but Sky and Scroll now looking for a little bit more of a sneaky play, and once again just continuing to play as passive as possible, not putting themselves in those risky situations, just kind of waiting for the opportunity to come to them.
It's almost uncanny though to their usual play style, at least not from what we were witnessing out of them inside of their heat groups, and that's I understand that, you know, obviously in a set lobby finals, you know that the competition is going to be leveled up just all that much higher, but at the same time, you don't want to lose your identity as a duo. I'm really waiting to see if they can find that balance. It doesn't look like they're really locked into this.
Good news, they got a lot of time to do so. Minori, Darkos. Behind Hero and Ping here. But they've got a long ways to go, making themselves a good little rotate into zone without having any focus put onto them.
C'est quoi? Ça fait 14 minutes. Je suis sur Fortnite. Je suis des empreintes cardiaques. C'est quoi ça? C'est quoi?
Just really trying to make it
J'en
very
ai
unlikely for
marre.
anybody to actually want to
Il
aggress
y a des
them.
tryhards
No,
par-ci
hey,
par-là. En fait,
we're healthy, we're stacked, we're in a good spot.
de faire du
We
2v1
don't
là.
need to
J'en ai marre.
force the issue just yet.
Faites du 1v1, je sais pas,
Chap
mais
and Flixie still holding on
le
to
même
that
contre un
early
pro, enfin,
elimination.
même.
Haven't
Mais
had to
pas du
travel too
2v1,
far
frère.
either from that west side of Slurpee Swamp, but
Surtout pro contre pro,
kind of
non,
keeping
non,
Marius
ça
and
va
Hydra
pas, ça va pas.
in the rearview mirror here.
Non, ça va pas.
Pablo Chino also. Couple of later stragglers here, but it's Lusha and
Oh, c'est
Matthew
hard,
who
on est
have
dernier à cause d'eux, là.
really been struggling to find their footing in this lobby. Seems like they're just being held by a couple of different teams on the way in. Marius and Idrop now noticing that there's a bit of a loss here. It's really just about keeping Lusha and Mappy at bay.
Yeah, there's a bit of action now. But a lot of the duos that are already boxed up aren't actually looking at that side from the players that are rotated in. Still quite a large section to play with here. This comeback and picks. Hopefully have been able to recover from earlier. Looks like they have a bit of mobility. They might just be going for a full-on refresh. Connect from picks, but now the box fight's going to come through as the third-party action from afar is also pressured onto them.
They lost their opening though. That was they had the element of surprise with the crash pads. It's you can't really tell when a player is about to crash pad on top of your noggin, but when the shots don't hit, you're just left to go next. Essentially here, Twek and Midro though, making good use space around them.
Maintenant, faut faire ça.
Taken over.
C'est dingue.
Little
en fait, à la fin, j'ai changé de serveur. C'est pas possible. C'est pas possible, en fait. Il y a que des tryharders. Mais quand je dis des tryharders, des gros tryharders, c'est gros mort. Des tryharders, je n'ai jamais vu ça au monde.
It's interesting too. Reese was even pointing out they didn't even seem too nervous in those final moments in the end game, taking their time to land their big hitting shots. But now with back-to-back wins, you know they've got a bit of that fire fueling them with confidence. So hopefully it doesn't kind of cause them to overstep themselves and make a risky play that ends up with them getting eliminated. But we're getting closer and closer to that end game, closer and closer to the reboots getting disabled. Once the 6 appears, it is going to be when reload is no longer active.
Casper.
Oui, d'accord. Le mec, il a sauté dedans. Les gars sont deux partis en Battle Royale. Là-bas, il n'y a aucun tryharder. Peut-être en reload. Ouais, mais non. Enfin, pas en Battle Royale. Il y a que des noobs là-bas. Au moins, là-bas, je me fais plaisir, quoi. En fait, je tryhard, mais je tryhard pas, en fait. Enfin, je suis nul, mais je suis pas nul. Ah ouais, flemme d'expliquer à 100%. Mais bon. Je pense que vous comprenez. Et bah tiens, je vais rage-quit. Je vais aller sur Roblox. Non, je rigole. Non, je vais pas aller sur Roblox. Bah à mon avis, en vrai, je vais aller sur... du Bliss Royal. Je suis de retour. L'église royale. En fait, les gars, il se passe quoi dans 3 heures et une minute? En fait, je comprends pas trop. C'est 18 heures.